What up, guys? Jason Geiman here with PressureWashHelp.com, King of Pressure Washing. And today I have a special guest on from a different country, and that is Canada, eh? And so I knew that was going to be there loud. So this is going to be an awesome interview. We're going to talk to David. And, this is one of those things that competition isn't a bad thing. I can look at David and say he's competition and I shouldn't be bringing him on here. But you know what? I love to network. Networking will help you grow your business bigger than anything else. We was actually just talking right before we got on here about networking. We'll talk a little bit about that, but I want to talk about two things that can kind of grow your pressure washing business, and we'll kind of talk about that in the midway of the video. But let's get started here. And David, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about family and business and stuff like that.
You betcha. Well, thanks, Jason. It's a pleasure to be on here. I'm Dave Mormon. I'm up here in Vancouver, BC, Canada. So as Jason says, we love to say A. So if I'm talking a bit funny, bear with me on this one. But I just turned 32 years old, and I'm happily married. No kids in the scene yet, but I've spent kind of the most of my 20s actually building up a number of home service businesses, and now my latest venture is focusing on my pressure washing business, Revive Washing. So that's kind of me in a little nutshell here.
So what made you want to start a pressure washing business?
It's a good question, Jason. So I actually, fell in love with home services. For those of you who know my story, I was actually brought up in college, door knocking, going door to door. I was this shy 19-year-old kid, and I was running a student painting franchise. So they really teach you this franchise I was in. They teach you how to get jobs and, paint houses and make money in your summer months. But what happened was I did it after a number of years. I got my business degree, but I really got kind of trapped in this franchise. It was nothing bad that they did or didn't do, but it just came to this point that I wanted to really create my own brand and really have full independence over the brand I was building. So it was kind of a period of almost 3 years where I kept my painting business going and I got pressure washing on the side. And then it was just about 2 years ago, I fully jumped in full time to my cleaning business.
So with the franchise, what are some things, I don't know how many people are looking at that, but what are some advantages of being a franchise and what are some disadvantages of being a franchise?
Yeah, it's a good question. So for me, I'm entrepreneurial, but I would say, I've got friends that are a 10 out of 10 on the entrepreneurial scale. They're coming up with new ideas every hour. I'm a little bit more conservative. So when I came out of my business, schooling, it was really, I was kind of scared to actually go and start a business on my own. I was told all the stats, 8 out of 10 businesses fail. You need to get help. So that was the big one. We talk about mindset. It was like, I want to do my own thing, but I also want to get my hand held. It's kind of like riding your bike with training wheels. You're kind of less likely to fall. So that would be, one big advantage you get off the top is you get the support and you kind of get the training too.
What's a disadvantage of having a franchise?
So my opinion, my honest opinion is you get this support, this training, which is great when diddly squat. But after 2, 3, 4 years, you kind of start figuring this thing out more. You know how to get the phone to ring. You got your budget. You know what trucks you need. You know how to do the work. And so it kind of gets to this point where you get stuck and you're like paying this franchise fee on every job, but you don't necessarily feel there's value coming back. And I always say everything in business, you want there to be equity. It needs to be fair for both sides. And it just came to a point where my business was growing and that fee grew so big. I was like, I can go hire a manager for that fee that I'm now paying annually. So it really on kind of the pocketbook, it really started to hurt me in time.
And so that's a good point because I actually had a competitor around here just start a franchise up, and I also had another competitor that quit the franchise, and I bought his phone number, and he had been in business for like 20 years, and that was the best probably investment of $20 that I spent in for marketing. But I haven't really had too many people on here about franchises, so that's kind of why I didn't know you was actually in that franchise, but I want to give some. There is, and I understand. A franchise, to become a franchise and to be able to franchise other people out, there's a lot of red tape that has to be done. I mean, you have to have manuals of every step, everything along the way, every, for technician. And, I'm trying to build some of that out myself, but, some of that, it's literally, it will walk you through step by step. And they have to actually have that before they can actually start selling franchises. So, there is a lot of red tape in behind. And it costs a lot of money for you to franchise out. This isn't something, when somebody franchises, it's not just, hey, I'm going to start franchising my business out and having these other little franchisees. It costs a lot of money to become a franchise. I'm not knocking franchises at all. There is, like you were saying, some people need that help. Some people, but franchises, especially in the pressure washing business and some of the other businesses, are not cheap. You're looking at most of the franchises I've looked at for my area of different sizes. You're looking at least $50,000 to $100,000 up front, not including the royalty fees that come along with it. So, that's one reason why I've kind of put my course together, is to help bring all this together. And David and both of I are both on, you got to get customers. It don't matter how much. And here's the thing, just because you go get a franchise doesn't mean that they're going to get you customers. You still got to go out there and get the work. Is that not correct?
You're bang on with that, Jason. It's kind of funny too. I'm a big fan of, like, in home services, there's no real secret sauce here, how we make the hamburger. It's really like, I was almost humbling coming into training where I'm getting all ready to hear all these marketing tips. It's like, guess what? Knock on 4,000 doors. Okay, end of story. It's like, it is literally, it's great to have a guide to show you what you got to do. But man, you've got to put on your big boy pants and put in the work day after day. I remember, evenings I'd go out in the rain and just be door knocking on my own. And it sure matures you as a person, getting, no after no, but that's where you kind of learn the skills of business.
But wait a minute. I thought if you did 400, you didn't need to do no more. If it worked, it worked. If not, it doesn't, right?
Exactly, man. It's again, it's a mindset thing where it's like, you almost have this false sense of security. You see, if I join the franchise, I will get all this work. But, it's like we said off the call, it's 80-20. Like, we had 20% of franchises would kill it, and they would go and buy an investment property when they're done. But then you got 80%. If you Google this organization, it's a scam. It's a scam. Don't buy it. So it's like anything of life. Like, literally whatever you put into it, you get out of it, franchise or not. There's pros, but there's also cons to be aware of.
So I know we went down a whole nother rabbit hole that I didn't even think about going down, because I didn't know you did franchise. So, but that's okay, because that's why I love this stuff. So what getting to the next level. So how long did you start your actual pressure washing business?
Yeah. So we turned 5 years old in May. So we're pretty much hitting 5 years.
5 years. Have you hit the $1 million mark yet, or getting close?
I think it'll be this year. That's our plan to hit it. And, it's first quarter, but we're trending in the right direction.
Now, is that $1 million Canada or $1 million American?
That's a great question. It's pesos here. No, it's dollars. We're dollars. So Canadian dollars, and our dollar differential, I don't even know what it is now. Maybe 28, 30 cents, something like that.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's funny.
So what has been the best way to get customers?
Man, I'm a big fan of organic marketing. I realize there's a lot of sexy online AdWords you can do, and we do some of that. So I do practice what I preach. But man, I feel like for the people watching this who are getting their business going, for us, it's like it's neighborhood buzz, we call it. And this is a tactic I learned 12 years ago when I was a fresh-faced kid in college. What do you got to do? We up to this year, traditionally, we've done a ton of door knocking. Works really well, but we'll do, signs in neighborhoods we work in. We're doing our 5 rounds, work really good, and then like reviews and referrals. Those ones, if you're gonna do anything, they're low cost, and everything I do is like, where can we put $1 in and get $10 out in booked work? That's kind of the lens we view all our marketing in.
Yes, and I agree on that. I mean, that's 100%. 5 rounds. Get your reviews. That right there will get your Google My Business up and running, and
Yeah.
and making sure you got all your pictures in there and all of the awesome things that go along with that. So that's the goal. So to hit your $1 million, how did you come up with that number? Did you just be like, I got $1 million bill and I'm just
Yeah.
going to hit it?
Man, that's awesome. I've never seen that. It's amazing. It's on your desk.
You buy something from EnviroSpec, they'll give it to you. You buy the Super Sucker.
Man, that's super cool. For us, Jason, I heard the quote back, and I like to say it a lot on all these talks. Revenue for vanity, profit for sanity. So for us, I don't really care your revenue or numbers of trucks. I see that more as an indicator of like a byproduct to get to your goal. So for us, it was a kind of a logical decision that I and my 2 managers came up with. Anyone who knows me knows my kind of jam is like system, sales, marketing, organization, leadership. I'm blessed with a really good hands-on operations manager. And when we sat down and made the budget, it came to this year to go to for $1,021,000 is our exact revenue target to the dollar that we set pie in the sky. And then we're now reverse engineering how many techs, how many hours, how many trucks. So like the revenue, the trucks, they're all a byproduct of that profit that we want to realize at the end of the day.
So talking about systems, what do systems help us do?
Man, that's so systems I tell everybody, if something happens in your business more than once, make a system. We had a tech last year, he backed his trailer into a customer's truck. Obviously does not good, but is that going to happen like every week? We need to have a written procedure. So do not back into It's just like, those are freak accidents. But to answer your question, Jason, anything that's going to happen more than once. So what's the script when, what are we saying when this thing rings? Is it just Jason's pressure washing? This is Jason. Do we actually have like a set script we can walk people through? Do we have a pricing guide, or do we just go onto the Facebook groups and say, what do you guys charge for this house? Okay, I'm $5.99 because Buddy is $6.99. Like, so they're replicatable processes that you can build your business on, that are sound, and they allow your business to grow. And they also give you, the business owner, a tremendous amount of freedom. So it's like literally, how do you run your business? Taking it out of here and putting it on paper, putting it on video.
Now, you said that's a system. Now, what if they have a system already that sucks, but that's a system, correct?
100%. It's still a system. I think Michael Kaplan said it. Your business is perfectly calibrated to achieve your result right now. Something to that effect. I think I butchered his quote, but it's like these little guys running around in their truck, their business is already systematized. You're right, Jason. It's just the most terrible, archaic system that it's insanity. Like, we're going to do the same thing year after year, and this will be the year we hit $1 million, but we're not going to do anything different, so it's, you're exactly right.
Billy Bob's pressure washing. We red tip everything.
You're making me laugh. This is good.
So one thing that I've been preaching a whole lot here lately is getting educated, getting that. And I see you have a whole lot of books behind you. Um, and I've been preaching it because I wish I would have done this a while ago. I wish that I wish I would have read more, even when I was in my business. I really didn't start reading until after I sold my business. And I think that may have set me back a little bit. I think we could have accomplished more if I would have done that. So tell me a little bit about, why you like reading, what books you like, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a huge part of your journey as an entrepreneur. I think whether you're pressure washing or you just started up a flower garden center, like literally whatever you're doing, business or not, you're gonna need to have knowledge. You're gonna need to be applying that knowledge. So for me, I always think it's crazy. Jason and I are talking off the call how you can have something like Audible for $15 or $20 a month and literally get a credit dropped on your account every month. You can go and learn from someone. Like if you look at a book like this, we're talking about the E-Myth, Michael Gerber's E-Myth. I tell every entrepreneur, like, don't talk to me, don't talk to Jason before you read this book, because it will frame up your mindset on what you're going through. But if you can have someone's life work for $20 in a book is just laughable. So for me, like tangibly, it's really helped program myself right here. I actually gave up my TV for a number of years because I just dove deep down the rabbit hole of learning. Now we got our TV back and like watching shows. I'm a little more balanced out, but I went crazy reading books for probably 5 years straight.
And that's a good book. And like Dave said, E-Myth is probably one of the best books to learn about basically not being a technician, because that's kind of what E-Myth kind of hits on. A lot, especially a lot of you guys out here, your trade people, your people of, you're used to that $20 an hour technician mindset. And so it kind of breaks that mindset. It kind of shows you that mindset is a failure mindset. If you're an entrepreneur or you're a technician and that you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you will probably fail with that mindset, because that's not a good mindset to be able to get you to the next level. That's not, and it also talks about all the different hats that we got to wear, the marketing hat, the HR hat, everything along that way. And as we was talking before about systems, there's a great illustration in the book where he talks about the two people start a business. And, they talk about the failure way of starting a business, and you go down the rabbit hole of, you both start it. Nobody takes in charge of anything. Nobody takes anything, and it will fail. You will grow to a point and you will fail. But if you take it and you start out and you have a CEO or CEO, all the different places that you need to have, and even if you sign your name in it, but when you go to hire somebody, you're taking your name out and you're putting somebody else's name in it. And that is what will help you grow your business, get to the next level, and everything along those lines. Is that not correct?
You're bang on, Jason. I love how, Michael Gerber in the E-Myth, he says it's all about working on our business, not necessarily in our business. And I get guys who say, well, what am I supposed to do? Sit in my office all day and work on my business? It's like, ideally, like in the winters, that's typically what I do. Before we got into Christmas lights, I would put this bad boy in airplane mode and just start typing systems. And once you like catch a little bit of momentum of this, it just like compounds. So like, like I'm saying, write out your incoming call script. Just tomorrow when a customer calls, just once you hang up that phone, just 15 minutes, just type out what do you actually say on the phone. For the guys stuck on the truck, they're like pulling their hair out. How do I get off the truck? I'm like, write down what you do on site. Like, let's just get it out of here, because there's so many good guys pressure washing, and Michael in his book calls it an entrepreneurial seizure, literally seizing up with like, oh, I'm a business owner because I got my pressure washer at Home Depot and now I got a truck. Like, it's like there's a difference from like owning the job to actually like being a business owner. So just like read that book. It's so good.
Well, and it goes back to what I always preach too of, there's different dollar amounts to each task. Each task, somebody on the truck, I've paid people 15 to 20, 25 bucks an hour to do that task. Mm-hmm. And I can pay that, marketing, I could pay $100 to $200, maybe $500, And so I like working on those $1,000 tasks, those $10,000 tasks. But if I'm working on a $25 task, I'm not working on that $10,000 task. And even the systems, writing out those systems, writing out the things that need to be done, that's part of working on that $10,000 task, not the $25 an hour task. The $25 an hour, $10 an hour task. I've had many 18, 19, 20-year-olds do that. They make great money. And they do that, and that task there is nice, but that's not what's going to make me and get me to the next level.
Totally, man. I tell people, they think, oh, what, Dave, do you think you're better? You and Jason can't be on the truck. It's like, no, we definitely can. We should know how. We should see what our crew's doing. But I went through a leadership course, and he told me, you're actually doing your company a disservice. Imagine the captain of a cruise liner ship. If he's down there preparing the desserts and then running the restaurant and then overseeing the dance and cleaning the bowling alley, like, you can crash the ship. So like as CEO, we're charting out, where is this business going? Are we sound financially? How's our balance of like the phone ringing with book jobs to like technicians in the field? Like, when you go jump on site, you're literally going to crash your ship because you're being arrogant, thinking, oh, I can clean, I can do this, I can go do this. Like, do it for 1 year, 2 year. But that's why people don't stand the test of time with their businesses, because they don't actually systematize it. They try to be Superman and they end up, unfortunately, crashing their ship.
Yes. And so I'm going to jump back to the two things that grow your business. And what would you say the two things that grow your business?
Okay. For just growth's sake, I would say number one is that laser focus on marketing and sales. So for new guys getting in, I would say your first few years of business, like Jason and I were 80-20 guys, right? Let's put 80% of your time over here focusing on marketing and sales. It's like, I tell people there's only 3 systems you need literally to grow your business to whatever level you want. We got client attraction. So we got to, win them over with marketing. You got client fulfillment. No one gets paid until you actually clean the house. Like, you got to figure out how to actually do that, hire a crew. And then number 3 is just really knowing your numbers. You're going to end up, like I said, crashing your ship if you do not know your numbers, which I almost had 2 years ago. We can chat about that if you want. We weren't charging enough. We didn't really know our numbers. And it's like, it's a very scary thing when you have multiple crews going and all your customers are happy, but what's actually in the bank at the end of the day, right? Revenue for vanity, profit for sanity.
I love that, because a lot of people want to talk about that top number, but they don't talk about that bottom number of profit. Yep. And profit is the most important thing. And so obviously you didn't know you wasn't charging enough. And so was that a hard thing to try? Did you think you were charging enough, or what was one of those things that was like, I need to charge more?
It was pretty much coming like right in the middle of busy season, Jason, and seeing like, wow, we did 1 month, 2 month, we had these big revenue months, but by time all the costs are going out, and don't get me wrong, we did reinvest some of our profits, so we were still profitable, but it was like, it wasn't enough of profit to really sustain the business, because after you pay everyone, you pay yourself, the owner, you should be. Then there's profit. Then guess what? Then there's tax you pay too. And then you got to float through a slow season of winter. So like, you got to really be a savage with your numbers. And so we ended up sitting down. I sat down, reviewed everything, and saw like the biggest lever you can pull in a home service business is the people on site, right? If you can get that labor, that direct technician labor in that sweet spot where it should be, the rest will kind of take care of itself. Like, I don't really care how low your SH price you get, or if you saved a few bucks on this or what. Watch those numbers, yeah, but really the main lever is that labor on site, which all comes to like what actual prices are you getting on site. So we had to dial up our prices significantly. Like
what was your close rate before you dialed it in versus what was your close rate once you raised your prices and you started becoming more profitable?
This is going to shock people. 54% close rate on the old model, $56 an hour charge rate in the field. Not great. Fine if it's just you going and you quit your job, whatever. But if you're paying people and everything, and we wanted to do it debt free from day one, so like that money goes really quick. 54% prior with the low price, 50% after the increase, and we were $102 an hour after that price adjust. And we changed a few things operationally to make us more efficient, but only a 4% drop in signing ratio comparing those two models.
So let's just go down a little bit further. What was your average ticket before versus the average ticket after of raising prices?
Bigger tickets too, Jason. I think we were after the price raise, we were $680 was our average ticket. Before, I want to say maybe we were $450 or so. I'd have to double check that. But it was just like, once we raised our prices, it was just like a breath of fresh air. Just like, again, it's like, oh, look at all these trucks, everything. I'm feeling so good. But when you actually see what's coming in on the bottom line, that's like the first thing I tell people I mentor. Like, let's sit down and figure out your pricing model, because I would say that's not just pressure washing specific. Like, even in the painting world, I saw it. Guys just come in and they're not going in cheap because they're trying to screw everybody. Literally, like, they just don't know. Like, you just don't know what you don't know. And that was exactly me a couple years back.
That's what I always tell people, man. You just don't know what you don't know, you know? Yeah. And it's so true. It's so true, because just think if you wouldn't have raised your average ticket up, and that's what it's all about, getting that, raising, and it doesn't mean that we're raising our average ticket up by doing 10 times more work and making still that $56 an hour. No, that is not what I'm saying by far. I'm saying, and I had a guy beat me up on a comment that was saying that you're just screwing people and that's unethical. And here's the deal, guys. If you're going to be in business all year long, and we're a seasonal business that only works 8 months out of the year, you got to make enough money so that you can put it in a honey hole so that you can get through the next year. Otherwise, you're not going to make it through wintertime, and you're going to go broke, and you're going to go out of business. And so I don't feel that, a lot of times when I see comments like that, it comes back to mindset. A lot of people have poor mentality mindset. They think that, oh my gosh, $100 an hour is like crazy high. You're going to charge $200 an hour, $300 an hour. That blows their mind. But if you want to have profit on the bottom side of things, you got to be there. You got to be there, because especially if you're going to grow a business, you're going to have managers, you're going to have a receptionist, if you get big enough, you're going to have HR, you're going to have all these things that go in there, and you want to take yourself and remove yourself out of the business so that you can work on the business. And to do that, you got to have profit. You got to have money coming in. And yes, I know sometimes it's hard for us to understand that, but I literally just got this comment today of, I can't believe how you're screwing people. Now, do you feel like you're screwing people?
Man, not for one sec. I was going to say, like, let's consider the source where that comment came from. And I get those comments too every so often. It's always the one disgruntled guy in the truck. You'll never get that comment from someone who's got multiple crews and who's actually had their washing business, let's say, more than 2 years, like someone actually who gets it. So like, it's hard to really describe to someone what we're saying until they actually like experience it. It's almost just like, you got to go to the theater and see the movie yourself, because I can't just show you the trailer and get you all hyped up. Like literally just get your ticket and go. And what we had to do, I actually put a lot of the price increase. I figured it out what we need to charge. And I actually got my manager to help convey those phone calls, those new quotes to our customers. And we did lose a little bit of the bottom end. That's okay. There was some attrition, but I think as business owners, we get emotionally attached to our price book. We're just like, I talked to this guy in pest control the other week. He was charging like $249 for something. And I said, put it to $400. Like, just try it this week. And he texted me, oh my goodness, people are still booking. I'm just like, you went and saw the movie. Like, you just experienced what I said to do. And so I love teaching this stuff because I've literally lived through it. I saw how nasty it can be. And now I'm seeing where we're on the road, much more profitable and continuing to grow from there.
And, I don't preach what I don't practice. I believe it 100%. I see it. The guys that I see that are successful, that listen to us are, they will go a long way. We was talking before we got on here. I know he's on here, Andrew and his wife. They just started like 5 months ago, I believe it was. He wrote a success story in a membership. And that's the reason why I wanted to show that, because, in 30 days, he's going to be completely debt free. And they've been trying to get debt free for over 5 years, I believe he told me. And in 30 days, well, a couple of the success stories, because I'm big on writing your success stories as you go. I'm huge on that. Don't set this big goal that you probably, this BHAG goal, and that's the only goal you hit. I want you to set the little goals. And when you hit that, that's a success story. That's huge. Yeah. That will help you grow your business. That helps you get to the next success story. That helps you get to the next one. Mm-hmm. And how do we do that? We set an action plan. What am I going to do to be able to get to that success plan? And so, he's paid off like 4 or 5 credit cards and through the success stories. And it wasn't, I know I helped him get along a lot, but I also know he watches a lot of your stuff too. And so Andrew is one that is what makes me happy, is to see people like that. He did, I believe it was like a $19,000 a month, and only being in business for 5 months is freaking amazing. I don't care who you are. That is life-changing stuff right there. I don't care, especially because it's just him and his wife, and That's it. That's life-changing. I'm pretty sure if you had $19,000 when you first started business, would be pretty much life-changing, would it not?
100%. Andrew's smart too, man. When he booked a free call with me, he's a smart guy. He wants to learn. I could hear this like keyboard in the background typing away. I'm just like, this guy is downloading my brain, and I love it, because what Jason and I say, the guys, the girls we help, it's so satisfying when they actually listen and take action, because we're not making this stuff up. We're both doing it, and it's just so cool when somebody actually jumps in and takes action. So props to you, Andrew. Like, really, really amazing what you're doing. So keep it up, man.
And somebody asked how you get those jobs. A lot of it, I believe, was boots on the ground. He went knocking on doors, and he did. It wasn't nothing just magical. It was boots on the ground. I believe he did some signs and all of that kind of thing. And so that is what you do. I'm not that smart. She is. Haha is what he put, And so, this is things that, but you both work great as a team, and and I've always said this too, if you have a wife or a female answer the phone, that's a good thing, because they're probably going to close more than you are, because a lot of us guys get into this point of, we go down this technical rabbit hole that doesn't do any good, that moves the needle forward, where a female will come in and make it. And so Andrew put how he gets most of his business, or that $19,000, was cold calls, signs, and became referrals. What did we talk about earlier? Signs, referrals, 5-star reviews, and he even struggled on some of that because Google was being stupid with him, and he had it all locked down for about a month or two from Google. So he fought through it, got through it, and got to the next level.
What does Ramon Burke say too? Answer the dang phone right here. Like, it's just like, that is another, again, just such a simple thing. I love his acronym, hearing that, because I'm just like, you remember it, and it is just so true. Like, you see those missed calls again when you're working in the business, you're up a ladder on the truck, you're great, you're fulfilling a $400 job. I guarantee you're letting, another $400 job miss just with a missed call. So when I was able to actually get someone picking up my business phone, was like, oh, I actually have a clear head. I can go sell or go and, door knock in a neighborhood. It gives you a lot of clarity. So just, you got to pick up those calls. You're paying Google, Facebook, signs, whatever, to actually get the phone to ring. Let's finish the deal and pick it up.
Let's not even go down that route of people not picking up the phone. That's if you're not going to be willing to pick up the phone, you might as well not even start in business. Because that's one thing that, honestly, when I wrote this out, honestly, I think one of the biggest, there's two things I think grow a business. One obviously is marketing, but one of this is kind of part of marketing, is communication. Communication will grow your business bigger. If one thing that can set you apart from your competitors is communication. Communication, and I'm not just talking about answering the phone. I'm talking about as Bobby Walker puts, all the little things. And a lot of the little things come through that phone call. And, we can set out a lot through there. When we're calling to say, hey, we're on our way. When we are texting, hey, we're on our way. Hey, we're starting the job. Here's a picture. Hey, we finished the job. Here's a picture. And I'm going extreme right there with that. But you know what? When I do that and I communicate with that customer, and that customer knows exactly what's happening, they know exactly what's getting done. They know when you go to ask for that review and you keep communicating, you will set yourself apart bigger than anything, especially in the world that we live in today. Nobody wants to talk to anybody, and you can't get a freaking bid. We was talking to somebody not tonight, and they're like, we're trying to get bids, and nobody will even answer their phone. They're like, if we get somebody to answer their phone, we're so excited.
Jason, we now give bids and tell customers call these other two companies because they'll actually pick up their phone. It's like you're actually serving your customer, telling them who to call. Because I also know they're reputable companies, and it's going to be apples to apples. They are paying their insurance. Their taxes are up to date. We have, similar business models. We both care for the customer. And if you read through, go put in a company in your area that
sounds like a book that I just got done reading. They ask, you answer.
That's it. There you go. It's like if you guys go on Google and put in your biggest competitor in the area who has the best reviews, if you read through their reviews, maybe 10% of them are actually about how clean the gutters were, how shiny the siding is. It's like the clients remember how you made them feel. And if you read through our reviews, I was doing it the other day. It's like polite, professional, service above and beyond. They got me a quote quickly. Like, sorry, we're a cleaning company. Why is no one mentioning the actual cleaning here? Like, it's like, let's obsess over the things our customers care about. We're still cleaning the house. Don't get me wrong. But it's like the clean house falls under this umbrella of service. That is like, how can you surprise and delight your customer? And that clean house is just one element, similar to how your price is just one element of your entire service package. Like, so much more goes in the recipe to build the cake than just the one ingredient.
Yeah, 100%. And that's Kirk Kempton. We're just a customer service company that just so happens to do pressure washing. And Marcus from You Answer, or They Answer, You Answer, we're basically a media company that just so happens to be doing pressure washing. Is basically what we are. We're making it easy for them to be able to get the information. We're making it easy. We're following up. We're doing video follow up. There's all kinds of things that we can do that will set you so far apart that everybody will want to use you. They don't care about their house being dirty. That, like you said, in the reviews, they didn't say nothing about your house being dirty. What they talk about, how polite, those are the things that set you apart. We can all say we answer the phone, but when we talk about going down the little things, and all the little things add up. And that is so true. And it doesn't matter what we're dealing with. When we're talking about customer service and communication, is the number one thing to grow your business. That will set you apart bigger than anything. And when people talk about you, they will know about you, and that is what makes you awesome and your company awesome, and everybody wants to work with you and everything like that.
Yep.
Um, let's see. So tell me one thing that you failed in business and two or three things that you learned from that failure.
It's a good question. We can do a whole podcast on my failures. The one we'll talk about maybe, Jason, is I say you need the three things in business. You need projects, which we've kind of hammered, marketing. You need profit, which we've kind of talked about. Again, these are all like separate chats we could do. But the last one I'd say to kind of round this out would be like the people equation. So those are the three things, right? And you're constantly looking for this balance of like new guys who get started. They're like, oh, Jason, how can I book 10 grand, 20 grand? Like they would be so happy if they could do that. Well, when they do that, they're like, crap, now I need to go get people to join my team. And that's like, we got to get now to second base. So for me, a big failure early on was I didn't actually do a good job building a culture. And I didn't even take 1 hour of my time to set a vision for my pressure washing business until about a year and a half ago, I would say. I actually sat down and I pumped out a vision for where's this thing going. And then my team at the time, I threw them all in a room pre-COVID. I ordered pizza and I said, 2 hours, I'm paying you all. I'm telling you where this thing's going. And it was like from that summer day, it was like a switch turned on in a couple of my key people that was like, this is becoming an actual business. So prior to that point, I did not do a good enough job like telling people where this pressure washing business is going and how it could be a career for them and not just a job.
A good book for that is called Vivid Vision. Vivid Vision is a great book that teaches you, talking about just that right there of showing the vision, giving it to your employees so that way everybody has the vision, and putting the vision out to the world in your marketing, the whole 9 yards. It's a little book. It's about a 2 or 3 hour book, audible read. So it's not very long. And he kind of goes over about writing your vision and how you're supposed to write your vision of, you write it in 3-year periods, not 5, not 2, but in a 3-year period. And so Vivid Vision is a great book to read, so that way you can kind of give that vision. So you have a vision, you have your goals, so that way everybody on company and on board will go and get to the next level.
And what I thought, Jason, that at the time I was a little, we did $89,000 my first year. I still remember. And I was like, I don't need to make, like, I knew like of a vision, but I discarded it again in my mindset because I thought, I'm such a rinky dink business. Like it's almost laughable to make a vision and make an org chart. But it's like, man, from day one, I would sit down and write, what could this business be? And you're going to change it over time. Like Jason said, make a 3-year. If you call me in 3 years, I guarantee you that vision's going to be different then. But at least it gives you like a true north of something to shoot towards. And I just had this mindset of like, this is Dave's pressure washing business. And when I made it a vision, it turned from I into we. So it was a big mistake early on. I wish I did it sooner, because now you turn your business into this like attraction culture where Jason said, people want to now join you and they're like, wow, look at all these areas on your org chart. Like for us, we have 45 positions now on our org chart in 3 years we want to fill. And so our current team is like, wow, I could see myself doing that in 2 years or 3 years. And like, that's how you get people to stay. They don't stay because they're spraying SH and cleaning gutters. Like they stay for you and the vision and the culture you're making.
So no, I agree on that. And even I'm gonna, before I jump to these questions because there's some good comments here. Even on the vision side of, I'm big on this one here of, get your vision board. What do you want? Not just in a business, but even personal. What are your goals? What is your vision? If you don't want to write them down, go get pictures of, maybe you want a car. Maybe you're that type of person that, you love cars, or maybe you want a boat, maybe you want a new house, maybe what is your vision? And I believe that 100%. I actually had a guy the other day. He's like, Jason, I did a vision board, and this was a couple months ago. He's like, I did a vision board, and I thought it was going to take like 3 or 5 years to get all the stuff that I had on there. And man, I got it done in less than 2 years. And it's like,
Wow.
you see it, you will get it. It gives you it gives you that giddy up and go to get going into work, and reason why you're there for. And I think that we lose sight of that a lot of times, of what is your main drive of running your business. What is that one thing that makes you tick, that once you get out of bed?
I even made mine my freaking background of my phone. So it's like, what things, represent you? What do you want your life to be about? And it can be toys and things you want, like everything. Different things motivate different people, guys. Some want a car, a house. Some want to travel, want freedom, like get your significant other something nice. Like all these different things fire us up, but there's something that happens from the brain to you actually writing down a goal or putting it like visually. Every text I get, I'm looking at my vision board. It's literally like programming your brain for what you want. And again, that's a big mistake from day one. It's like reverse. What do you actually want from this business? Like people, Jason, you ask them, they're like, oh, I want $1 million pressure washing business. It's like, why do you even want that? Okay, well, I want to tell all my buddies I got the biggest business. It's just like, man, we get it backwards. Like set up the business to serve you, your family, your community, whatever you want. And a lot of good stuff will come of it.
Absolutely. So Andrew put, customer relation is key for us. We did a bid job Friday, talked for an hour and a half with the lady. She had 4 bids for her home that were lower than my price, and we secured it for a $1,600 ticket. That is awesome.
You can't tell me people shouldn't be investing in coaching. Get Jason's course, man. That one job. It's just like, man, we need to learn these things. Good job again, Andrew.
My wife is listening. She said, who are you listening to? Dr. Phil? I just passed out laughing. I had to put that one out.
That's funny. I like it. Comment of the day.
All right, guys. So, we've hit on this a little bit. I want to hit on a little bit more, because I believe this is something I've been gone this week, so I haven't been in my community as much as I liked, and I was in there today, and this is something that I'm getting a lot of fear and self-limiting beliefs. And a lot of my people that are on here right now are in their older age. I got some younger age, but in the older ages. And it's the self-limiting belief of, can I start a pressure washing business? What that fear of, can I start it? Can I do that? What is your take on that fear and how to overcome that fear for someone?
Yeah, it's a very real fear. Like for me, again, I got started in the franchising space, so I kind of dipped my toe into the water, I guess. So, but it took me, guys, almost 2 to 3 years. I forget exactly how long, where I'm running this business painting, which was like my steady Eddie, pay the bills. And then it wasn't like I just shuffled this off and burned the ships and dove into pressure washing. It was like, I needed to hit 100K pressure washing until I was like, this is a real thing. I can do it full time. So I think just like, I'm not one that's just like, oh, if you believe it, you can achieve it. Like, Gary, go quit your job, put your family at risk, like just go for it. Like it can take a little bit of time, but I think at a certain point, you got to take a bit of a calculated risk in business and actually jump in and do this full time. So one thing that's helped me is borrowing, Josh Latimer said it, one of my mentors, like you can borrow confidence from other people. And for me, it was like, if I just have one, like if this podcast was 30 seconds and Jason was just like, what's the one thing? And we're going to hang up. I would say, get around someone who's already done what you want to do and just learn from them, paid or not. Like, depending on your finances, pay someone or just go learn as much as you can, because it's these books behind me. It was my coaches, my mentors, like everything is kind of chipped in to help build what you're building. If you look at Andrew, he's borrowing beliefs from Jason going through his program. He's borrowing from other mentors in the industry. So like, we don't just make this stuff up. I think you can kind of borrow from other people and learn from their successes, and then you apply it in your own business.
Mark, and he just signed up. I actually got a mentorship going right now. There's only 5 spots. That's number 4. I only have 1 spot left. Mark just took it. I sent you the Voxer access, so you should have that. And them other 4, I sent the Voxer access to.
Nice.
And that's the only access you get to Jason is that way. So
nice.
I don't give my phone number out. And then, in fact, I had a hater on me because I don't give my phone number out. And, you know, it's one of those things that if I gave my phone number out, I would never get anything done. And fear is real for everyone, you know, but how soon are you able to overcome your fears is what matters. How are you able to look fear in you know, I'm not saying fear is not a bad thing, because fear can be a good thing. You know, me fearing to fall off the roof is a good thing. That's, if I didn't have that fear, that would be a bad thing. We just got to know how to overcome, so that way we can become and get to the next level. So
I think,
go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. I think there's just a difference, guys, of also like fear and then also courage, right? Like, to start my pressure washing business, it wasn't like, oh, Dave is so brave, he doesn't have any fear. It's like, no, I have fear, but I weighed out all the costs and I dove in anyways. And that difference is courage. Like, courage is taking action even though you still have that fear. So courage isn't like the absence of fear. You're still feeling it, but you're proceeding to take action anyways. And that's where people get this like entrepreneur attitude. Like, I got buddies, oh, I'll start a pressure washing business one. I could do that, no problem. It's like, well, then why didn't you go do it? Because you're just scared. You know, that's where fear is overtaking you're causing inaction.
So that is awesome. I have, before we get off here, I want to give you your chance of whatever, but I put David's YouTube channel down underneath here. Make sure you go subscribe. He's putting out a video a week giving different information out there. Get on his email. That way you don't miss that also, so you can get on his email list. So that way you can make sure that you will be able to get to where you need to have, or where you need to get to where you need to go at. But David puts out a lot of information. He's been doing one a week. He's only at about, I think, 12 or 1,300 subscribers. So help him get his subscriber count up.
I got to catch up to the king.
Well, good luck on that, because I'm going to keep going.
I'm the baby prince, the king, staring ahead. I love it.
But make sure you go down in the bottom down here and subscribe to him. Also, subscribe to me if you haven't already. And so that way you can get to the next level, because that's my goal is I want to help you get to the next level. Whether you're just starting out, whether you're wanting to get to the next level in business. Same way with David's doing the same thing. Somebody just said they sub. So make sure you go subscribe to his business or his channel. He gives out tons and tons of information. He has a website, everything that's in the description of his stuff. So that way you can go find out more and binge watch some of his videos. If you don't like his Canadian accent, then I don't know what to tell you, but you know, A. So A. How do you spell Canada? C-A.
Yeah. I like that.
I have your phone number. Thomas put, yeah, please don't give it out to anybody else either. So, Tom, I gave my phone. I used to give my phone number out in my training courses, or not in my training courses, my in-person. Thomas actually took my in-person a year ago. I actually do have 2 spots left for this week at Fredericksburg. If anybody wants to do pressurewashhelp.com/in-person training. I go over everything. You get to do everything. My wife is Canadian, somebody put. So, nice. David, tell me, if you was a brand new person, what how would you start your pressure washing business off now that you have all the information you have now?
Well, I would, like I said off the top, I would, or maybe that was off air. Don't sink the ship, guys, with equipment. That's recommendation number one. Don't steer, like literally steer clear from the fancy setup, and
What? You
let's
mean equipment don't grow your business?
sitting in your driveway. Unfortunately, no. You gotta. You're unfortunately, guys. It's not like you build it and they will come. That's what some people think getting started. So your first 2-3 years, literally just stay in your lane and focus on getting your phone to ring. You got to become a master marketer in order really to build a solid pressure washing business. Step 2, get around someone, like I said, who's already done it before. Be very wary of these guys on groups and YouTube channels who literally started their business 2 weeks ago and now they're telling you what to do for $89. Like, just literally vet people and say, what have you done? Have you shown people? Okay. Always just consider the source of information, because it worries me in the online space how easy it is just to start up and be this facade of an expert. So learn from people like Jason, who's already done it before, who's credible. Those are the people you want to be learning from. Because if I look back at my journey, I think we grew quite quickly with pressure washing, largely because I got around people who did what I wanted to do. One of my mentors today, they're in HVAC and they're doing about $10 million with a bunch of trucks. And I go in their shop quarterly for 2-hour lunches just to literally sit at their feet and learn from them. And it's like, they're in a totally different industry. I'll never be in HVAC, plumbing, probably not. And I just get to learn from them. So those would be like title of this, video, the 2 things, like, let's go deep sales marketing, know your numbers, but then like learn from people who have went ahead of you. Because if you can build this thing in 3 or 5 years, like look at a guy like Andrew. I'd love to talk to him in 3 years and see where this thing is. It's going to be a beast to contend with. I wouldn't want to be in his area. If he didn't get around people like Jason, it could take him 15 years. Who knows? So it's like, what is time worth to you,
Nope, absolutely 100%. I always tell people, and it's true of you will become like the 5 people you're around. So you don't want to be the smartest of the 5 people you're around, because at that point you've put a ceiling on you. You want to be the dumbest person of the 5 people around, because at that point you only got one way to go, and that's up. And that is so true. I look at some of my mentors. One of my mentors that I've been around a lot is my CPA. Dude's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. And is it because he's rich that I want to be around him? No, it's because he's got information that I want. He knows things. He's able to look at things that I can't look at that and say. He can look at something and say, do this. And I'm like, how did you come up with that? But, I got some friends that, like you say, that are in the service business and not even in the pressure washing business that I'm looking up to. Those are the people that I want to look up to. BBB, Mike Dalkey is in there. I look up to Mike. Why? Because he's went ahead and went to the places that I want to get to. That is the thing that I want to do.
Yep.
If you're the smartest guy in the room, find a different room. Amen, Ray.
Amen to that. Times 3.
So, and get around like-minded people. Honestly, not as in like-minded people of, you're all negative and because negativity will kill you faster than anything. Negativity will drain you so fast it's not funny. Get around positive people that are willing to be positive. When you think positive, you're going to be positive at the end of the day. If you think negative and everything is negative, you're going to be a life in misery at that point. And usually, especially starting a new pressure washing business, your family will be the most negative to you in the beginning because they don't think you're smart enough. You didn't go to college. What are some other things that may be thrown at you?
It's so true, man. I actually look back at my journey. I had this contract to sign for the painting franchise. I'm at the kitchen table. I'm 19 years old and you needed a witness. And my dad is giving me one of these and my mom's giving me one of these. And so I went ahead and did it. And I'm like, man, I would not have I don't come from family of entrepreneurs. So it's like, I wasn't given money to go start a business or anything. It's like, I had to figure it out. But it's like, you're going to have people in your circle. It's like the barrel of monkeys, the monkeys getting out of the crate and they all link up to pull them back down. And so like your community as entrepreneurs is everything. Again, back to Latimer, he says, entrepreneurs feel momentum or we feel not in momentum. And that really dictates our mood. We even in my house, it's just my wife and I, we made a pact where we're not allowed to say something is impossible. It's just helping program our minds. So might try the one later today. I want to go to space, well, it's not possible. We'll figure out a way how to do it maybe one day, who knows? But it's like having that posture of like, we can create the end result and believing that to our core is amazing things start to happen.
Amen. Any last words?
Man, I'm happy. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for, time is your most precious resource. So Jason, giving me your time and also the listeners here too. I hope every video I make, that push out, I just want you to take like one piece away that you can go put into your business. So I hope that we accomplish the mission of this chat and wanted to thank you for listening.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on, I don't know, next week, Thursday. Hang on there. Let me